what you've been saying is directly pertaining, I think, to my question. So it's all percolating a bit.
Yeah,
But
that's a nice
yeah,
word,
no,
isn't it?
yesterday
Percolating.
percolating. I know.
Yeah,
I'm a fan. That's been my word of the week. But
percolating.
uh, but yeah, yesterday there was this wonderful kind of just instantaneous moment where the I was looking at the body and the labeling mechanism just kind of fell away for like a half second, and I'm not exactly sure what happened, but suddenly I got really interested in emptiness. Like, was that the emptiness of form that people, that I keep hearing about? And I know you mentioned it. Yeah, actually, the video you posted on your Facebook page, I think you mentioned it briefly, and you mentioned it a little bit just now. And I keep looking at the body, and I don't know, maybe I'm just not entirely clear on what emptiness is
Yeah.
exactly, but uh, yeah, but I do see that, there is this kind of notion that the body is, um, not sure what the opposite of emptiness is, but there is identity, like there is an identification with the body, that it is not quite empty mm, of me, I guess. Um,
But all of this is irrelevant because who is it that knows all of that? That it's not empty of you. Like this line of thinking you don't even need to waste your time thinking about.
mm,
Like obviously thoughts come up. That so all you need to concentrate on is what your current experience is. And it's not a mental thing, so you cannot. So as soon as your mind says, is this it?
well, she's up there too,
Yeah.
actually. So
So as soon as your mind says, "Is this it?" or "Is this not it?" that then you can just put that aside because your mind cannot work it out. The thinking process can never work this out. So in your experience now, so if you shut your eyes, I'll do that with you. So so describe what it's like when you shut your eyes. What's your experience like?
there's no visual content. There's no, I mean, the back of my eyelids, I suppose. There's still a sense of a body.
So how do you know that sense of your body?
I'm perceiving a sort of it's a cluster of sensations. It's somewhat amorphous, but also somewhat static.
And it feels like you have an edge.
There's an edge to the body.
Where
Um,
how do you know that?
it's 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 not perfectly rigid, but there is kind of a general outline of it. You know,
So are you sitting on a sofa or a seat,
a chair,
a
yes.
chair? So how do you know where your your back ends and the back of the chair begins? Where is that line between your end and the chair beginning?
Uh, mm, It's a different set of sensations, I think.
So do you have to know that? Do you have to think about that?
Really hard, yeah.
So so your answer is based on something you already learnt, that you have a back and that you know what a chair is.
And I'm justifying it after the fact, yeah.
So now if you come back to your experience, so you're not allowed to find the answer in thinking in anything that you've been taught, in anything you know. You're only allowed to find it in your experience. Where does your back end and the chair begin? See if you can find it without thinking about it.
Uh, I keep trying to go at it with the mind, but without it, I don't know.
So basically, this is the place that we're pointing to as teachers. Well, I don't know if all other teachers are pointing to it, but certainly me, is trying to get to this place of no mind, of no thinking, and this moment of no thinking and no mind is always here. It's in the instant. It's in the direct moment. So right here, right now, there is no mind, there is no thinking, and then the thinking comes in time. The thinking comes, and we start thinking, I've got a back, and it's in relationship to a chair, and this thinking begins to manifest as a feeling. When we come back to the raw experience, there is actually no back and no chair. Your body isn't a size, your essence isn't a size. There is simply what is happening. And non-duality is trying to point back to this freedom beyond what you think and what you know. So this is why I was saying, when you think about it, you've already missed it. Like, it's irrelevant finding it in thought. It's coming back to your actual experience. I used to think, so during my process of waking up, I used to think that thought was experiencing. I used to think that in order to know something, I had to think about it. So in order to know a computer, I had to think about it. In order to know I was in a room or to know anything, I had to think about it. And I thought the thoughts and consciousness were glued together. So I thought that, like, almost in a way, thoughts were conscious. And then I began to see that there could be a perception of things, there could be a perception of life that was prior to thinking, and that your thoughts were already an interpretation of something, and they weren't actually a truth of a situation, and they weren't actually conscious of a situation, they were simply an interpretation. So in this moment, there is this conscious presence, this consciousness, and this I am, and it's totally innocent, and you don't need to have any mental activity in it to be conscious. But when consciousness is just by itself, like it's not got the brain and it's not got thinking, and it's just innocent, and it's just recognized for what it is in this moment, it cannot think about anything. Like, it's the brain that thinks. So when consciousness is just consciousness, and there's no thinking happening, and there's no body happening, and there's no world happening, the consciousness cannot think about anything. Consciousness is innocent of anything. I am is innocent of anything. Thoughts are something that come with the human brain, and they're not actually depicting reality. They're something that happens in reality. And what's got to happen is a remembering of this conscious presence, this perception that's happening prior to all things. So right now, if you open your eyes and say you're resting your eyes on me on the computer, there's also a perception happening of the wall behind the computer, of the table, but you didn't need any thinking in order for that perception to happen. You didn't need to think, I perceive the table. The perception of the table and the perception of the wall instantly happened without you, the character, doing anything. The perception was there. And that perception is there all the time, and it's innocent. And that perception, that consciousness, the big consciousness and the I am, is actually in all things and is all things. And then what comes and goes in it is the ability to think. So you think, I'm sitting watching Lisa, and then it gives the feeling that there's a body sitting watching Lisa. But prior to that, there is consciousness, and that consciousness is everywhere. So if you now look down at the floor, you don't need to put any effort into being conscious of the floor. You don't need to put any effort into being conscious. If you look down and see your hands, it happens. And then a thought comes up and says, they're my hands, that's my floor, it's brown, it's blue, it's white. And then there's a thought coming up of you that's registering all that, but there is no you registering that. There's this innocent perception that's happening. So what needs to be remembered is prior to words. It's nothing to do with words. It's this innocent moment that's right here. So when the thoughts start saying, is this emptiness? They're already in thinking. The emptiness is prior to that thought, or those thoughts. Like, who is conscious? What is consciousness? That innocent perception that happens.
I kind of want to talk, but at the same time, it's, I don't know. I mean, given everything you've just said, it's,
How does your body feel right now? Like, what's happening in your body?
it's permeable. I think that's how I describe it. It's, yeah, that division I was talking about, it's not so, yeah, not so much. Yeah, there's a, I don't know, just while you were talking, it's just very interesting that that sort of the mental process, the mechanism of labeling. Suddenly I just there was the identification with it kind of dropped away. Um, it was another object in consciousness. Wow. I don't have much to say. Um, I don't know. What do you think? What do you
What do I think?
um, yeah, I'm just kind of at a loss for words right now. Um,
Yeah, I don't know if I have anything left to say.
hmm. Yeah, me too. Uh, yeah, yeah, I guess I'll just percolate more. I don't
Yeah,
know.
nice.
Yeah,
Oh, well, that
yeah,
was nice to speak with you again.
yeah, yeah. It's always nice. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Enjoy
Thanks.
the rest of your day. Take care.
Bye.